Well, hello, Andrew Doubleday here yet again, and today we've got a message for Sunday the 1st of August, and we're continuing in chapter 6 of John's Gospel. We've segued out of Mark, and over the next few weeks we'll be looking at chapter 6 of John. This week we're picking up the narrative in verse 24. When the crowd saw that neither Jesus nor his disciples were there, they themselves got into the boats and went to Capernaum looking for Jesus. When they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, "Rabbi, when did you come here?" Jesus answered them, "Very truly I tell you, you're looking for me, not because you saw signs, but because you ate your fill of the loaves. Do not work for the food that perishes, but for the food that endures for eternal life, which the Son of Man will give you, for it is on him that God the Father has set his seal." Then they said to him, "What must we do to perform the works of God?" Jesus answered them, "This is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he has sent." So they said to him, "What sign are you going to give us then, so that we may see it and believe you? What work are you performing? Our ancestors ate the manna in the wilderness. As it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat." Jesus said to them, "Truly I tell you, it was not Moses who gave you the bread from heaven, but it was my Father who gives you the true bread from heaven. The bread of God is that which comes down from heaven and gives life to the world." They said to him, "Sir, give us this bread always." Jesus said to them, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never be hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty." Now, I'm aware that there are difficulties that many have with John's Gospel, and my hunch is that it may well be because of the liberal use of metaphor in the great I am statements. I am the bread of life, as we saw in this one in verse 35. Whoever comes to me will never be hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. In chapter 12, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Or in chapter 10, verse 8, I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. You will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief only comes to steal and to kill and to destroy. I have come that you might have life and have it to the full. Or verse 14 of chapter 10, I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep and my sheep know me, just as the Father knows me and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. The reason my Father loves me is that I lay down my life, only to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down and authority to take it up again. This command I received from my Father. Or in 11 and 25, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. And whoever lives and believes in me will never die. And then he asks the question, do you believe this? There's the rub. Chapter 14, verse 6, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Or 15 verse 5, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Outrageous claims, unless they're true. But how can we know? Well, I've discovered that the simplest way for me is to try and see. There's a principle in Psalm 38 and 8, and it says, taste and see that the Lord is good. While it's clear that the initiative comes from God, and that may be simply in our experience of hunger, the invitation is for us to respond in some way. We can look back at the Hebrew Scriptures, passages like 1 Chronicles 15. It was early in the reign of King Asa, and we read this, the Spirit of the Lord came upon Azariah, son of Oded. He went out to meet Asa and said to him, listen to me, Asa and all Judah and Benjamin. The Lord is with you when you are with him. If you seek him, he will be found by you. But if you forsake him, he will forsake you. And effectively what we're getting here is a choice. We get to choose. It was the same in the time of Asa, and it's the same today. We get to choose. Toward the end of that long reign, things didn't go so well. Asa had forgotten the lessons that had been offered. Hanani the seer approaches Asa and suggests that he's made some poor choices. In the middle he offers, I think, a principle that I believe applies just as much today. And it says this in 2 Chronicles chapter 16 and 9. The eyes of the Lord range throughout the earth to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to him. Sure, God is drawing, but we get to choose whether or not we'll be drawn. James puts it like this, later, right near towards the end of the Bible. Draw near to God and God will draw near to you. These I am statements, the ones that we've read through, what we've read here, they're all invitational. Hear the words from our text again. I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never be hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. These are an invitation to encounter, to engagement, and ultimately to intimacy. Can you picture that transition for encounter, for engagement, for intimacy? And it's not about making a simple cognitive choice to believe a set of propositions. Jesus doesn't ask us to believe him. He asks us to believe in him, or more accurately, to believe into him. There's a sense of active engagement here, a kind of pressing in. It's not simply a passive response. This is much more than giving simple intellectual assent, which oddly enough I find the more difficult. Some of the claims of Jesus seem so fantastical that it's hard to believe them. Yet I find that I can believe in him. And when I do, I find those claims embraceable. I trust him, as have countless millions before me, have discovered that through tasting and seeing that the Lord is good. Believing, as an exercise of the head, the intellect can be difficult. For me, the pathway in has been through believing in, through trusting, which is exactly what this means, as an exercise of the heart, a commitment of the heart, a willingness of the heart to make room and welcome the ingress of the Spirit. And my life has been transformed as a result. It would be easy to pick over the intellectual difficulties that this passage, and in fact the whole of chapter 6 presents, as we'll discover in coming weeks. Yet when we do that, we get sidetracked. And we miss the whole point of what Jesus is inviting each of us into. I'll repeat my assertion, that when Jesus says, I am the bread of life, whoever comes to me will never be hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. These are an invitation to encounter, to engagement, and ultimately to intimacy. And our response? Yes, I will. And take time to follow through. Take time in quietness and prayer. Take time in opening ourselves, emptying ourselves, giving space for the Spirit of God to gently move in, to feed us, to refresh us, to reassure us, and discovering in that our hunger is filled, our thirst assuaged, the bread of life has fed us. God bless you. Amen.